Coach, obviously you talked to us earlier in the week about wondering how your team would respond. I guess you didn't have to wait too long to get your answer, especially on the defensive end. And did you see that coming out of practice after what you saw this last weekend?
I didn't know. I didn't know. That's the response that we all wanted, but I didn't know what it was going to look like. We were obviously a little down on returning from Phoenix and not winning the final game. And like I said, I think to y'all and definitely to the team, we can handle getting beat by someone that betters us, and we played and we competed and we did the things that we normally do. And if we get beat by a better team for 40 minutes in that particular night, then, shake their hand and move on and get to the next one. But that wasn't the feeling that we had. And I think they realized it in watching tape when we got back and got reorganized. And so I didn't know. I didn't know exactly what the response, like I said, was going to be, but I'm certainly glad it was what unfolded tonight.
We'll stay front row. We'll go Benjamin, Sam, and then Robbie.
You guys, you were able to dominate on the boards and in the paint. Murphy and Nwoko both had big nights. What have you seen from each of them just in terms of the way they've developed throughout the course of the season so far and the way they fit in your system?
Yeah, we've talked about Murph a lot. He's had some nice games. It's nice to see him do it against, power 4 or 5 competition. Mike, has been getting better and better. We've talked about him since he's arrived, that, our young bigs were going to be a work in progress. And their mantra was to get better every day, to, be good later. And they're all young guys. And, Mike's obviously been getting the lion's share of the minutes of those 3 young guys. But he showed, tonight what he's capable of. He only played 18 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So he had 18 and 11 in 18 minutes. And, that's the next steeplechase that he has to get over. Like, he's really good when he's fresh. And unfortunately for him and us right now, when he's not fresh, it drops way too much. Just, his efficiency, his attention to detail, his demeanor, just his overall game. And he knows, we've talked about it plenty. And so I got to watch it because I can't play him that long before he tires out, and he's just not as good a basketball player. So that's the deal with him. He's got to get in better shape. He's got to get in better shape, or he's got to get a little more mentally tougher so, he can play at a higher level for a longer period of time. But the thing I love about him is he's a wonderful kid. He's a hard worker. He's gotten better. He's a sponge. He wants more. He wants film. He wants extra. And so when you got that kind of approach, when you're a young person like that, then usually, they're going to climb the ladder as time goes on.
It seemed like particularly early at the large run you guys went on kind of started on the defensive end of the floor. What kind of adjustments at all were maybe made from the last game into this game, or what did you just kind of like from the defense tonight?
We watched some tough tape. We talk about point of attack a lot, whether it be guarding the ball in a one-on-one situation, whether it be guarding a ball screen in a 2-on-2 situation, or if it's 2 of them, a 3-on-3, or, what's popular now is the zoom action with the handler and 2 screeners off the ball playing a 3-man game. And we talk about, point of attack defense, whatever it is. And we showed them probably 20 clips of our last outing where it was poor. And everything that happened after that point of attack, didn't result in good things for us. And so we really spent a lot of time on that and showed them it and just tried to get better at it. It wasn't, like we didn't go back to the drawing board and start defending, any different at point of attack other than we tweaked our ball screen coverage a little bit. We would have done that regardless of how we played, just because of the dynamic guards that Pittsburgh had out front. We just felt like we needed to try to keep them in front of us a little bit more than we have in past. But that's really all it was.
Robbie, second row medal.
Coach, you've been real vocal about the improvements and what you've seen from KeShawn, and you're starting to see it more consistently. He's putting it together. Do you feel like this is kind of who he is? We saw those flashes last year, but do you feel like, you're finally seeing, who he is on a consistent basis?
Well, you guys are seeing it. I see it in practice, and fortunately, he's making me look like I know what what I'm talking about, because I brag about him a lot. You guys that have been in these rooms know that, and I was like, he better play well on game day, because I'm sitting there, singing his praises, and if he didn't, they'd be like, well, what's he talking about? And I knew it would get to the court. He's been so consistent with his daily approach, mentally and physically, and you can ask anyone on our team about him. Like, he's hard to get off the court. He never takes breaks. When they go 5-on-5 a lot, we kind of let them sub on their own for the most part, although we track who's in the game and who's not. And he's always at the top of the list of percentage of possessions of him being in the game. Well, it'd be real easy for him not to, but he just wants it like that. He wants the reps. He wants to get better. And, again, just an awesome kid and fun to be around. And I'll keep saying it. Like, no one deserves success more than him for what he did, and for him to believe in us when all that injuries happened and he wasn't going the way he envisioned it going, and he stuck with us. And I'm just glad that he's getting to reap the dividends of it.
Go Jacob, first row to coach's right.
Coach RJ played some good defense tonight and hit a couple big 3-point shots for y'all. What kind of strides have you seen him made since arriving this summer?
Yeah, I think he can be a good defender for us. He's shown flashes of it. He's rangy, he's long. I don't think he was probably ever talked about as being a really good defender. And for him, to be as good as he needs to be for us, that's an area of the floor that he needs to focus on a little bit more, and he has. I think he made his first shot, if I'm not mistaken. I thought he got a little excited and jacked up a couple ones pretty quickly there, but he settled in, and he and a lot of other guys, but him in particular, he's become kind of a Swiss Army knife for us, where you play him at multiple positions because of his length. We can play small ball 4 with him, and certainly he can play his natural position as a 3, and he's become a quick enough defender to even slide in there and play some 2 as well, and that's a luxury when you got more players that can do that kind of thing.
Go to Brian, second row left.
Coming into this game, are you more surprised that you scored 90 or only gave up 57?
Usually I say good question when you ask me that, or any question. I haven't thought about it. I just wanted to play well. I just really, you can talk to my wife. I was kind of out of sorts today, because I wanted to have this response, and I didn't know. That taste in my mouth was still pretty heavy, and it was not a good taste, and I just didn't know how we'd respond. Certainly practice is one thing, but under the lights is another, and certainly our home cooking had something to do with it. I thought our students were off the chart. They showed up. It was the most student claim tickets we'd had thus far. And I thought the other folks that, attended the late start, we certainly appreciate that. And you could feel it, okay? You could feel it. And I said this on radio, like I would love for our team to have Cameron Matthews' personality this year. Like that's the goal. And tonight I felt like that's what we played like. We had his personality, and it got on the floor. And the more nights that we can play like that, the more successful we're going to be.
Back to Robbie.
I wanted to expound on the crowd a little bit. I mean, this is a place that in the past has really supported basketball, and there was a time where maybe there was a little bit of a fracture with the fan base in basketball, and you're starting to see it come back around here. What's been your thoughts on kind of what you built and the fan support that's come back for Mississippi State, especially from the students?
Every coach in America gets in front of a bunch of people and talks about building relationships in the community and et cetera when you get a job, and I was no different, but I thought we backed up our words, especially with the student body. We've been trying to touch them as much as we can. We've been very active on campus trying to build relationships with different groups and have a reciprocal relationship that way. And I tell our guys all the time how important it is for them to recruit fans, recruit their fellow students, and how you act and interact has a lot to do with if they're going to come support you. And I think it starts there. I've just been super impressed with the following that our kids have created. I think we play a style of play that they appreciate, and not just them, obviously. I mean, the whole fan base in general, I think it matches, our style, our blue-collar approach, lunch pail, whatever you want to call it. I think it resonates with a lot of people around here, and hopefully it'll just continue. Obviously it draws a little bit better than the SEC, but I thought for a late start game, tonight, especially coming off a loss, I thought it was really, really good. And I think a lot of it has to do with our administration. They've supported us. It's gotten better and better since we've arrived. Dr. Keenum and Zach Selman have really helped us put ourselves in position to attract, better quality student athletes, and equally important, being able to keep the ones we have because of the experience that they're having, because of the amenities that they're afforded now, and it's been so far so good that way.
Any update on Kanye?
He was out with a lower leg injury, so that's where we're at right now. Lower leg injury.
We'll go to
All right, we're good? All right. We'll see you guys
Appreciate
Sunday.
it.
Thank you, Hell State.
You bet.